Okay, back over here at, you guessed it, the shop. And I bought some flanges to make that cross member for the transmission removable. Originally I wasn't going to do that, but because of my center console there, pulling the bell housing back is a little bit tougher than I want it to be, so I want to be able to just drop, instead of having to go down and back, I want to just be able to go straight down, because I'll probably be using a transmission jack. So bought some of these flanges from Tim McAmis race cars. Really good quality stuff, really nice, I like it. So what I'm doing right now is I already cut the bar, and now I'm just trying to get the flanges squared up and lined up and make sure they're even with each other, so that whenever I go back and start welding it, everything's nice and flush, lined up and even, and then at least it looks good, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Try to get this thing lined up so I can tack it in place and go ahead and start welding it out. What's up, everyone? So I actually wasn't planning on coming to the shop today, but I'm here, so I figured I'd start kind of tackling this other chore that I wasn't looking forward to, which is modifying this particular header right here to be more like this one, because this flange was coming down right where the steering is going to be at. So instead of it coming down at an angle like that, it needs to come out similar to the other one. So what I'm gonna do is, I've already cut it off, as you can see, and I'm gonna do my best not to have to build a whole new header. But you know, if I have to, I have to. I'm gonna try not to. So I got a bunch of bins. I got some 180s, some 90s, and some 45s, and I'm hoping between those bins that I have, I've got enough to figure out how to end up with this flange about like that. It's not critical, it could still be pointed down slightly, but it's just got to be away, because it was like this obviously, and it was just way up into the steering. So I'm gonna try to suck it up similar to that side over there, and yeah, anyway, get that set there. So let me figure out this, and then I'll come back. Alright, so I had to take a little break and go to the local exhaust shop and get them to swedge this area out for me right here because the when they bend it, it kind of reduces the circumference of the tubing. So it was way too sloppy in here, and since you can't get in there to weld all the way around, I wanted to make sure it was as tight of a fit as possible so that when the motor heats up, it helps kind of seal it up. So anyway, looks like it's going to be a good little fit here. Nice and tight. First tube I'm going to do here. Alright, tacked in place here. I'm going to use a piece of wire to kind of hold this up where I want it to be so I can finish tacking that in place. At least I'll probably get 2 tacks on it, and then I'll pick it up and I'll take it off and go over there and tack a little better on the table, and then figure out what tube I want to go to next. So it's day 2. I got the first 2 cylinders, which was pretty easy. So now a little more difficult one is number 3 cylinder. It's got to come out, make a turn, and then make another turn. And then I'm hoping number 4 will actually be pretty straightforward as well. So I'm gonna end up having to cut this probably. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out the angles here that I gotta have so that I can cut this where I need it and try to get everything to line up decently so they can be welded. Alright, finally got cylinder number 3. Just sit on there like that. Swoops underneath and fits nicely in there. So I'll pull this out and weld it all the way around before I go ahead and fix it in there. Do the same thing for number 4. And then this will be the last thing that I weld on number 4. Actually, I guess technically these will be the last thing that I weld. So I think with the way I'm doing cylinders 3 and 4, I'll actually be able to take these out, weld these up inside first, and then be able to get, so I can get at least most of them welded up all the way around, because before they're, you're not able to get in there. So you're only able to weld about from right here all the way to about right there. So about 3/4 of it. So anyway, we'll see how that works out. This one was going to be easier, but it actually turned out to be a pain in the butt. Just finding the right angles and getting good made up of the surfaces is kind of the pain. So it's kind of crappy now, but once I fill in all the welds, it won't look too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld these 2 pipes up completely first with back wedging them, and then I'm going to test fit everything again, make sure it's still good, and then I'm gonna weld on the inside of those, I think is what I'm gonna do. So I just want to make sure I can get that collector on, or get these back in there with that collector already on. So anyway, I'm gonna give that a try. Alright, so it's done. That was a big pain in the butt. Don't particularly care to do that again. So you can see they're not exactly the same, which is fine. I just needed it up out of the way of the steering. So, but anyway, that took me all of 2 days, primarily because I've never done one before. So I was double checking and triple checking things before I let it rip and just started welding stuff together. So anyway, didn't come out too bad. Guess we'll be back tomorrow and try to work on the front end.